Hello Team FD and welcome to the most hungover episode of Winners and Losers in recorded Football Daily history. I'm joined this morning by Joseph Tomlinson. How's your head? You, sir, were of course at the game, you lucky devil.
Oh my god, I'm in pieces here. My head's in pieces, my body's in pieces. I'm battered and bruised. I think when the second goal went in, I was about 25 rows down. A wave of human swept me to the front, but what a result, what a performance. We're going to talk about it later on in the show. My head's splitting. How are you feeling, Amster?
Oh, I don't know. I woke up about 6:30 and I don't know what I've been doing for the last 3 hours. Supposed to have been preparing for this show. I was just staring at an empty Word doc, humming Sweet Caroline. Nice. I'm broken. This fixture has broken me. Anyway, let's move on to our talking point, but not before I plug our sponsors, Manscaped. Okay, they're seeing out winners and losers with us throughout the Euros. If you want to take advantage of our discount code, then use said code on screen right now or visit the link in the description below for more details. Talking of close shaves, no, we're not going to do England. We're going to do the talking point first. My head is absolutely all over the place. The talking point is Marcus Rashford confirming Jadon Sancho? Question mark? Joseph, give people a brief explanation of this situation.
This is all over the place. So obviously in the bedlam post-England winning, where the players, the fans, the media were in absolute raptures, Marcus Rashford has seemingly accidentally confirmed the Jadon Sancho move. Now, he took to Twitter, he was replying to a lot of England fans, a lot of happy messages, and somebody said, "Announce Sancho Rashford?" And he's replied, yes. Obviously, it's gone massively viral. 50,000 people have seen it and liked it. And he has subsequently come out to say he was hacked in the moment, which feels, I don't know, personally it feels a little bit tenuous. I'm not going to call Marcus Rashford a liar, because he's a doctorate and he's got an MBE and he's probably one of the greatest humans that's ever lived. So I'm not going to call him a liar, but equally it was kind of mixed in with a lot of other tweets that didn't really have a vibe of a hacker, saying like "yes little man" to little children and stuff like that in England shirts. I'm not overly sure, but either way it seems like he's accidentally confirmed Sancho in a week where the Sancho news has fully hit the headlines, because this is one of the most boring, overdrawn transfer sagas in football history. But I have to say that Manchester United might be getting Jadon Sancho for an okay fee here. I saw that Sky Sport Germany and Bild both reporting that Dortmund have lowered their price and are basically met Manchester United in the middle at about 85 million euros. So about 74 million pounds. Hamster, what do you think about that?
Okay, so that's a saving of about 30 to 40 million euros on what they wanted last summer, right? And I think even if you'd got him in last summer, you probably would have still finished second in the league. So it's not as if signing him now has cost you anything prior. Maybe
might have won the Europa though
in various semi-finals and finals. Yeah, that is very, very true. But equally, for his development, another year in Germany was pretty good, wasn't it? And he won the DFB Pokal. So he's gone to the continent. He's come back with silverware. Come back in inverted commas, because of course only Marcus Rashford knows whether that's true or not at this point in time. But yeah, I think that's a good deal for Manchester United. Of course, Manchester City get 15% of any fee, owing to that deal they struck when he moved to Dortmund for £8 million in 2017. And I'm glad that, yeah, I'll be glad to see him back in the Premier League and racking up some serious minutes, because we've not seen him grace the pitch at this tournament as of yet, which has been a crying shame, because of course Jadon Sancho very much in the same sort of company when it comes to prodigious young England talents as Michael Owen, as Wayne Rooney. I think he's got more goal involvements than them at club level by the same age, which is pretty bloody telling, isn't it? And of course the German media absolutely dumbfounded that he's not been involved even more. But, you know, his omission justified, everything justified by yesterday's result. So let's move on to our winners section. And, of course, the Three Lions are kicking the show off Break it down for me, JT.
Goodness gracious me. Wembley was a rocking yesterday. One of the best atmospheres I've been involved in at a football game, given it was just 45,000 of an 80,000 plus seater stadium. You couldn't have told. It was awesome in there yesterday. You just have to watch the images of Harry Kane post-match soaking in the Sweet Caroline vibes ringing round Wembley to realise what a special day it was, and what a special result for England. The first time they've beaten Germany in a knockout tie since 1966. That is absolutely ridiculous. But England's record on knockout ties is crap, isn't it? They only won 8 knockout ties in 55 years. So not a huge surprise we haven't beaten the Germans historically in those big crunch games. And it might not be a vintage Germany side. I'm sure there's lots of little trolls in the comments right now saying this Germany side is rubbish. It's pants. But 7 of their starters have been Champions League winners over the last 2 seasons. You had Rudiger, you had Havertz, you had Werner at Chelsea this season, you had Neuer, Kimmich, Goretzka and Müller at Bayern the season before. So they might not be in the best form, but they certainly had experience and talent in areas that could and should have hurt England at times. But I have to say, England were magnificent. I know you're going to talk about them, and the Germans have been struggling this tournament. 10 days ago, they were absolutely fantastic against Portugal, though. So England did really well to keep them at bay, I think, because it was a cagey game. England had 5 shots, Germany had 9. XG had the game pretty much level at about 1.3 each, but the way to win international football tournaments is to be solid at the back. It absolutely is. Take Portugal's example at Euro 2016. Take even France at 2018. They built everything off an extremely solid foundation, and that is what England are doing at the moment. We still haven't conceded a goal, Hamill.
Yeah, and it didn't look like that was going to be the case in the first 10 minutes, did it? England were pretty shaky in the opening exchanges, which is understandable because a lot of those guys are really young, right? But yeah, after that, I'd say that it wouldn't be an unfair statement to say that Southgate's men pretty much seized control of the game, maybe until the sort of last 10, 20 minutes when it became a little bit more gung-ho. But particularly impressed with 22-year-old Declan Rice. Finished the game with 4 tackles, which was a match high. Sterling, of course, got his 3rd goal of the tournament, also completed 3 dribbles, so had the beating of his man most of the time. Harry Maguire got man of the match. I think he won 6 aerial duels. It was a colossus, wasn't he, in those sort of situations?
He was awesome.
Yeah, it was very
awesome.
Very but England, heavily indebted to someone that we have criticised a lot in the past, particularly at club level, not so much at international level. Jordan Pickford was outstanding once again. I mean, the way he denied Werner in the first half with his legs sort of low to his left was truly exceptional. Because I don't know if you've clocked it in the replays yet, and of course my memory of it very hazy when it happened, but it sort of hits his calf. It's very fine margins from saving it and creeping between his legs, and it's well struck by Werner. And that was his only shot of the game, by the way, Timo Werner. So that was his moment, and Jordan Pickford denied him. He also denied Kai Havertz very impressively, didn't he? In the second half as well, up high, tipped it over the crossbar. So yes, I think, much maligned, but Jordan Pickford, we need to put some shine on him in this tournament. Still has not conceded a goal. But yeah, the late show, wasn't it? It was the late show. Sterling, 75. Kane, 86. The Muller miss in the middle. How God. I know. Just absolutely mind-blowing that Thomas Muller missed that. And his record in the World Cup versus the Euros is also mind-blowing. 10 goals in 14 World Cup games. 0 in 15 at the Euros. So history was against him when he was through 1-on-1 there. And he succumbed to it, unfortunately, for German fans. And yeah, you know who enjoyed the goals late on in the game? Bloody Zach and the boys were recorded doing it, weren't they?
You wouldn't believe England were 2-0 up at this point. Zach was clearly feeling the nerves. And he finished it off with a fist pump at the final whistle. Yes, Zach.
Ultimately, Tomlinson, I think that Southgate deserves a lot of credit giving up on that 4-2-3-1. That is the only system he's deployed in 2021. And that is a system that, of course, gets 4 attacking players on the pitch. And and yeah, we needed goals. So he could have justified sticking with it, couldn't he? Rather than taking Grealish out the side and bringing in a defender. But the 3-4-3 returned in full, didn't it? And his fullbacks did him an absolute solid. Kieran Trippier, the only England player to lay on more than one chance. And Shaw, of course, got his assist too. I thought that was probably Shaw's best performance in an England shirt. So, I mean, is there anything else you want to flag about this game before we quickly move on to our losers, which are Sweden? Bearing in mind, you know, we're starting this show very late, aren't we? So, should probably keep it quite tight.
Nothing massive. I did want to just point out that you mentioned him there, Declan Rice. You know, I thought he was struggling first 20 minutes, and he picked up a yellow card within sort of 10 minutes of the game. So to play 80 minutes in that midfield against some of Europe's best and most influential midfielders in Leon Goretzka and Toni Kroos, without getting a second yellow and without really putting a foot wrong in that second half, should not go unnoticed for a 22-year-old to do that. Because let's have it right, that was the biggest game of Declan Rice's career so far, by some margin. And I thought Calvin Phillips did a really good job alongside him as well. To a man, England were really good. And I keep seeing people on Twitter going, oh yeah, but did Southgate get it right? Because it took until 66 minutes when Grealish came on to really change the game. And the defence, it was indebted to Jordan Pickford. Shut your mouths. Honestly, how can you moan about that? We beat the Germans 2-0. We're absolutely sensational at the back. Maguire, Walker and Stones were colossal. Let's just relax and enjoy it. Christ, stop moaning, man. Rant over.
Yeah, we do have to shout out Super Jack, don't we? That is 2 assists in 116 minutes. He continues to be England's super sub from the bench. Let's move on to Sweden then, because we could ramble about England all day, couldn't we? And I want to start on a positive note, Joseph. I'm going to just highlight the performance. Before you talk about Ukraine, I'm going to highlight the performance of Emil Forsberg because he's lit up this tournament, you know, prior to Sweden crashing out. Very, very good, wasn't he? The first Swedish player to score 4 goals at a single Euro final tournament. I think Zlatan leads Sweden for goals, you know, all time at Euros finals with 6. Henrik Larsson had 4. Forsberg joins that prestigious company after a really, really good campaign. And his 90 versus Ukraine, very impressive. 85% pass accuracy, 81 touches, 4 shots with 2 hitting the woodwork as well. So he was a little bit unfortunate in this game. 3 take-ons and 1 goal to his name. So I know they've gone out, but it was very fine margins. And yeah, I just thought he deserved a little bit of a glow. What are you saying about bloody Ukraine, though? Shevchenko's boys. Wow, can't control my mouth.
Yeah, well done to Ukraine. A few people actually were suggesting them for dark horses in our predictions as well. So people have called that really well. They've done very, very well to get to the quarterfinals of this tournament. And that game against England, they stand every shot. It's going to be in Rome. There's not going to be any England fans there. There's not going to be any Ukrainian fans there from what I've read either. It's going to be a neutral fan base. So it's going to be one hell of a battle. And I'm sure England will not be underrating this Ukraine side, because this was a tough and tightly fought game. And I thought up until the red card, from what I can remember, it was really evenly contested. And that tackle, I think he is a little bit unlucky, because he does he clears the ball, gets a very good connection on the ball, but the follow through is grim, innit? Like it looks an appalling tackle when you slow it right down in slow motion. But I just thought once the sending off happened, Ukraine were able to just apply more and more pressure. And I know the goal came extremely late, but it felt like Ukraine were going to score at some stage in extra time. So hats off to Shevchenko for this one, because he hasn't got the most star-studded lineup. Yes, Zinchenko is very good on the night. You know, 1 goal, 1 assist, 4 tackles and interceptions. Very impressive performance. But the team cohesion he's built is going to make Ukraine a very, very hard team to break down. And I'm sure that's something that's going to puzzle Gareth Southgate in the build-up to Saturday's game. But either way, he can be absolutely proud of getting Ukraine to this stage. And after the match, of course, he was talking, wasn't he, about facing England. Let's have a watch of that.
Я посмотрел сегодня первый тайм, и это очень мощная команда. Я прекрасно знаю, и очень хороший тренер. Значит, мы понимаем, значит, насколько будет тяжелый матч. Нам самое главное сейчас это восстановить силы.
Yeah, I'll be perfectly frank. I do not remember that game at all. I was eating a cheap mixed grill in a Weatherspoons after watching one of my mates, who's a maths teacher by trade, flip a table in a pub in Fulham. Like, it was just chaos, wasn't it? Just chaos. That's the last thing I can remember with any sort of clarity. Let's close the book on that. And let's plug Manscaped once more in the outro, Joseph, because they are sponsoring this show. Yeah. And you know what? If you want to if you're feeling a little bit, barbaric after yesterday's fixture, if you're feeling a bit hungover today, treat yourself to a little manicure set. I've got one. They sent me one. It's lovely. Use the discount code on screen right now to get 20% off and free shipping. And I also saw a little stat, actually, that I wanted to round the show off with. There's been 10 more goals in the second round of Euro 2021 or 2020 than there was in Euro 2016. Like, how good have the knockout stages of this tournament been?
Oh, incredible.
Just absolutely superb. What a way to kick off coming out of lockdown. I hope everyone's enjoying themselves. I hope everyone's still, staying safe. Joseph, is there anything to plug across Football Daily that I might have forgotten about?
Not really. I don't know. I've just seen that Leicester City have completed the signing of Patson Daka from Salzburg for £23 million. So that's exciting. We'll see you later.
No doubt we'll mention that in Transfer Talk tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. Goodbye.